Peter Horn. Something I've been very passionate about is putting the right people in the right roles, in the right order, and really excited to have Peter Horn and David Nucifora in the high performance roles, and now with the appointment of Joe Schmidt as head coach. It's a really exciting time for the Wallabies and also for rugby in Australia. So we're looking forward to the next period ahead, and now I'll open for questions. Thank you. Yeah, I think right now, if you look at rugby in Australia, it was important for us to look at the best coaches in the world to take the team forward. And if you go through the background, the history, the high level of capability, but also from my early indications, but also from a lot of people that I've spoken to, the right person as well, which is so important as we try and build more and more trust across our system, but also more and more trust with the community. And I'm very confident Joe will bring that, and the level of capability and the track record of success is really important.
There's a lot of commentary, but there's still a lot of belief that it needs to be in Aussie. Obviously, that wasn't a necessity in the eyes of the people that made the decision. Why doesn't it need to be an Australian coach in the Australian national team?
Yeah, I think international sports moved on a lot in the last 10 to 20 years, and if you look across different sports, national teams go with the most capable people, and we know that not just in our playing development, but also in our coaching development, we need to bring more good players through the system, and we need to develop our coaches as well. And I think Joe, not only in his capability of what he'll deliver, but also how well he'll work with the system to continue to develop coaches already within the system, but also Australians that are offshore as well.
Phil, last few coaches have been given longer contracts. Why only 2 years for Joe? Don't trust him, or he got burnt last time?
No, I think certainly trust him, and that's part of the appointment process. But look, I think I'm sure that Joe will answer the question. But that was a discussion between Joe and Rugby Australia, and if we look at the path forward, and we have the British and Irish Lions in July. Finishing the start of August next year, and building out a system and level of trust and capability across everything we're doing is really important, and that's what we're focused on at the moment.
Will his future depend on the result of the Lions? So I think with the World Cup, you said Eddie's pass mark was going to be making the semis, or the Wallabies pass mark. Is there a pass mark for Joe?
We're not talking, I guess, around pass marks. I think we've got a lot of work to do across our performances across our system. And right across rugby within Australia and building trust. So right now we're not talking about results. It's actually building a system and level of capability right throughout, from the Wallabies right through to our pathway systems.
Joe, welcome to the Wallabies head coaching role.
Thanks.
When did the Wallabies coaching role start to get on your radar?
I guess when Peter was appointed. I've worked with Peter before. I've obviously worked with David Nucifora for some time, and with those guys in place, I thought it was a good opportunity to try to pitch in and get Australia up and running, because I do think that the World Cup was not an Australian team that I recognised, certainly not from my time kind of coming here last time with the Irish in 2018. It was a super contest right through the 3 test matches, and so there's this period of time now to work out how and what's next. But that was when it first really came on my radar, and I'm probably a little bit surprised that I'm here. I thought I'd retired when I went back to New Zealand, but I'm very poor at doing that. Obviously, being involved with the Blues and the All Blacks since then, and I'm pretty excited. This is a really unique challenge, I think.
There's been lots of coaches that have struggled, failed perhaps in this role, including New Zealanders. Why do you think you'll be able to succeed where others haven't?
Well, I can't say that I'll succeed or otherwise at the moment. I'm just getting my feet under the desk and trying to get a better measure of who's out there and what capability they have. I've certainly observed a lot with Australian players, obviously preparing to play against them, but getting to know the people behind the player. And if we can get the right people and they can perform on the field, I do think we can build things, because the flagship, if we can get the flagship going, I think we can start to get the players' aspirations where they need to be, and I think with Pete trying to build a little bit more alignment and through that high performance system and the pathways strengthen. But I do think it's also a little bit of it's a rebuild that will take a little bit of time, and I'm probably a pragmatist. I can't promise anything other than I'll be working really hard to try to make it as successful as it can be, and trying to get some early wins on the board. And those wins may be just that we perform better, even if we don't quite get the outcomes we're looking for. But I'm also a realistic coach. You're judged on your outcomes, and you live or die by them. So we'll be working toward those as well.